I know exactly how you feel. I've been in the same position too, and it's called mom guilt. Mom guilt. We feel guilty because we're moms and we have to leave our children to go take care of our other children at school. So what do you do when you are a teacher and you are in charge of tiny little lives, and yet and still you have tiny little lives at your home that need you too? So what do you do to overcome that mom guilt from being a teacher? And especially if you're a teacherpreneur and you have these other little activities that you do, how do you balance that? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm LaWanda Shields with 2 Cute Classrooms. So let's get right into this video. When we're at home, we need to make sure that we are present and in the moment. When we have those precious moments with our babies, we have to ensure that our minds are not racing back and forth with schoolwork or other things that we need to be doing, because our children and the time we get to spend with them is precious and it's priceless. You never get it back. I was reading a post this morning from someone on social media, and they were talking about how they were a teacher and this was the first year that they got to go back to school, and their son didn't go with them because he had graduated. She said she didn't know where the time had gone, but she felt so guilty and she had missed so much because she was busy taking care of other people's children and not taking care of her own. Well, not saying she wasn't taking care of her own. What she was saying was she had spent so much time at school that she had not spent as much time as she wanted with her own son. And now he was grown, out of school, and moving away. So what do? You make sure that you are cherishing every moment that you have with your children, because as she said, and I know myself personally, you never get those moments back. I can remember rushing off to school and feeling so guilty, especially with my oldest son, feeling so guilty because I was not spending as much time with him as I was spending with schoolwork. I said, here I am, taking care of other people's children, running off to school, running off to PTO meetings, running off to ball games, running off to extracurricular activities, and my own son was being ignored at home. I was also dragging work home, and we're going to talk about that too, how that's a problem. You need to make sure that you set clear boundaries. Clear boundaries have to be set for you as a person. Family time is sacred. Make sure you treat it that way. That means disconnecting from school when you get home. I have a friend, and she was notorious for completely disconnecting at 4 o'clock. We got off work, I think, around 3:30, and she might have gotten off around 4, but I promise you, when 4 o'clock came, I don't care what was going on, I could call her. I mean, it could be 3:58. She was not picking that phone up. After 4 o'clock, you would not get her at all. Work was out of the question. So I'm telling you, she had the right idea. She used to irritate me at first. I was like, oh, why can't she just answer the phone? It's a quick question. But she was guarding her family time. And that's what we have to do too. We have to make sure that we are guarding that precious time that we have with our children. The way we're going to guard that time is by setting those boundaries. You have to make up in your mind, I'm not going to allow school to take over my home. I used to be guilty of this myself. As I said, I worked constantly. I worked holidays, weekends, whatever it was, spring break, Christmas break, Thanksgiving break. I was lugging papers home. I was doing papers. I was even going to the schoolhouse. I went so much that my principal had given me a key to get in so I could go do work. And I had to realize that it was too much. Even on my sick days or days off, I was getting emails, trying to answer emails, doing all of these things that were work related, and my family was suffering. Draw the line. Draw the line. Have a set time in which you're going to not answer that phone, not respond to emails, not be a teacher, because at that point you are mom. So set those boundaries. Make sure that they are clear to your co-workers. Make sure they are clear to your parents. Make sure they're clear to your students. You owe it to your own children to be there for them, to be present and in the moment. Also, make sure that you are leaving work on time. Go home. Leave them papers on that desk. Go home. Go get to your car, get in, and go home and spend that time with your children. You're going to regret it if you don't. I know it can be tempting. Oh, it's just 5 more minutes. It's just 10 more minutes. But that's 5 or 10 more minutes that you are taking away from your own children's time. So think about it. Is this really what I want to do? No, I want to spend every moment I can with my children. And you're going to do that by making sure that you go home on time. I am guilty. I am guilty. I'll be one of the first to confess that I violated this so many times myself. And I get tempted to do it again. But leave work at work. I know we talked about leaving it on time. I know we talked about setting boundaries. But this means don't bring them papers home. They shouldn't be scattered across your living room floor, across your kitchen counter. They shouldn't be on your dining room counter. They shouldn't be anywhere except at school. Leave those papers at school. Leave that work at work. Don't make them phone calls once you get home. You are at home, and your children and your spouse need you. Spend that time with them. And even if you don't have children or you don't have a spouse, but I'm suspicious that you definitely have children if you're watching this video. But even if you don't, your friends need you. People need you. So make sure that you leave work at work. So it's called work. Home. There needs to be a balance between work and home. So leave those papers at work. One of my favorite things, when you are going to spend time with your children and make it special, come up with a tradition, a procedure, or something that you do when you see your children. Again, I was watching this lady on Instagram, and it has nothing to do with her kids. She's a stay-at-home mom. I think she has about 5 kids. But anyway, she decided she was going to start greeting her husband at the door every day and giving him a kiss. And so she went through this. I forgot how many days it was. It might have been a month. And you could see the change in even her husband by her meeting him at the door and her giving him a kiss every day. It became a tradition. He liked it. She liked it. And things worked so much better. Come up with some kind of tradition or something that you do every day for your kids at the same time so they will expect it. Make it special. Make it special. Have a transition period. Before you go home, before you become mom, check your mind. Give your mind a cool down time. Again, I got this from Instagram. And I will tell you the lady, I think it's ordinarily. Mom, I may be calling that wrong. She may not get me. I'm one of her biggest fans. She's in New Orleans, Louisiana. And she did this, I think it was a reel. But anyway, she had it when she was getting in her car. And she was putting on her makeup. And she was getting really spruced up. And they were like, where are you going? She said, I'm going home. And her colleagues and stuff were like, why? But why are you doing that to go home? She said, that's what boo is. That's what boo is. She was talking about her husband. She says, you know, she has to have that downtime from work. She has to make a disconnect from her job to her home life because her home life was so special. And that's what we need to do. I have to drive at the moment. I drive about 45 minutes to an hour from where I work to my home. So that does give me some time to cool down, to decompress. And that's what we need. But if you don't have that drive time, and I know a lot of us don't like that drive time because I'm not a big fan of it, then you come up with something else to help you get out of the mindset of being a teacher and back into the mindset of being a mom or being a wife or being a friend, being a daughter, being whatever it is that you need to be when you get home. And I know I haven't said it before, but before I go any further into this video, be sure you give this video a like, a thumbs up. You subscribe for more teaching tips and hacks. So let's get right back into the video. It takes planning. In order to be effective at being a mom and being a teacher, it takes planning. And you've heard me say this over and over again. I'm going to say it like right now. You need to have systems in place to help you function better as a mom and a teacher. Because as another lady said, she felt guilty because she didn't feel like she was being a good teacher because she was spending all the time thinking about her kids. And she said she didn't think she was being a good mom because she was spending so much time thinking about being a teacher. So, to prevent some of that, put some systems in place to help you. Get you a support system to help you emotionally, to help you decompress. You know, get you a support system. And also get you a system of organizing things so that your life, your teaching life, and your home life runs smooth. So make sure that you do that. These are all ways that you can be an effective mom and an effective teacher without feeling guilty. Now, some of us may make the choice to transition from being a teacher to a full-time mom. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I wish I had done it if I could have, but unfortunately, I couldn't when my oldest son was going to school. And now my baby is a junior. He'll be a senior this coming up school year, the next coming up school year anyway. So, too late for me to be a stay-at-home mom, but I can be a stay-at-home, I don't know, mom of adult children. Either way, but it's up to you. There's no right or wrong answer for what you should do to make sure that you are being the best mom you can be and to reduce that mom guilt. So these were some suggestions that I made. Do what works best for you, and I will see you guys in the next video.